Hello and welcome to FIA Pure Motorsport. On this week's episode, we're visiting the reigning ETRC champion, Norbert Kish. We'll take a look at why karting is the cradle of many great racing drivers. And we have spectacular hill climb action from Sternberg and much, much more from the FIA world of motorsport. The second stop of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship takes place at the Hungaroring. For reigning champion Norbert Kish, it's not only his home race, but the most important race of the year. Kish travels to Hungary as the overall leader. He's ahead of Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz. And the Hungarian lives up to his role as a favorite, celebrating two unchallenged lights to flag victories in races 1 and 3. In race 2, Kish starts from the fourth row in his red man truck. At the front are Andre Kurzim and Shane Brereton. A great getaway for Brereton, putting his nose in front of Kurzim. Down the inside line, number 55, Adam Lachko, breaks a little bit later than everybody else, pushing Steffi Halm into Andre Kurzim. And most of the field has to go wide outside the track limits. Unfortunately for those on the inside of the circuit, when they rejoin, a 5-wide scenario sees Norbert Kish thrown into the air. Albazet and Kurzim go off, Brereton hits the side of Lachko and takes Sascha Lenz out with him. Then there's even more contact between Anderson and Lachko. Theo Calvé is turned around, and in avoidance, Anderson and Kish both climb up the barrier. Understandably, the race is red flagged. The trucks of Antonio Albazet and Norbert Kish are heavily damaged, but luckily all the drivers are fine. After the cleanup, many trucks stay in the paddock and miss the restart. Only 10 trucks are on track. It's a much cleaner start this time. Shane Brereton is on the inside, overtaking Andre Kurzim for the lead. While Kurzim and Brereton fight for the top position, Adam Lachko takes advantage of this battle. He overtakes them both on the inside and is the new leader. A great move by the Czech. Then number 17, Shane Brereton, fights with Anthony Yannick for third place, and both go to the limit. Yannick presses through on the inside. Also number 2, Sascha Lenz, is in attack mode. First overtaking Steffi Halm, then easily the German passes Shane Brereton and Yannick, and then sets off to intercept Kurzim. Adam Lachko takes his first win of the season. Kurzim manages to stay out front of Lenz. Sascha Lenz with unbelievable consistency. At the 6th race, he's on the podium for the 6th time. The 4th and last race of the weekend sees at the start Theo Calvé and Steffi Halm in the first row. Adam Lachko and Norbert Kish are both back in the 4th row. After the first corner, Kish has already moved up to 6th position and a little later on would move into 4th place. Jochen Hahn has shifted up to 2nd position right behind Theo Calvé. Then Kish attacks Kurzim and easily passes the German driver. Norbert Kish now in 3rd position and looking very fast. Next up for the Hungarian, Jochen Hahn. With 9 titles in between them, they know each other inside out. A couple of laps later, Kish is in attack mode. A great move from Kish against the eternal rival, and to the delight of the Hungarian fans, he is now in 2nd position. Now he just has Theo Calvé in front of him, and he quickly puts pressure on the young French driver. But the Frenchman has a technical problem. It seems like either a malfunction of the brakes or steering force him to retire. While Kish extends his lead, a thrilling battle for 3rd place develops between Adam Lachko and Sascha Lenz. Lachko stays aggressive and pushes Lenz to the outside and then passes him on the inside, but Lenz holds his own. Lachko, however, has the better position and secures a place on the podium. Norbert Kish wins his third race this weekend. After 2 third-place finishes, Jochen Hahn with a good second place, Adam Lachko with another podium finish. 3 wins in front of his home fans. A great weekend for Norbert Kish, extending his lead in the championship to 18 points. Sasha Len swaps places with Jochen Hahn. Norbert Kish is a star. Hungarian motorsports fans love the 3-time European truck racing champion. Thousands of them flock to the Hungaro ring to cheer on Norbert at his home race.
People keep telling me that they are so proud of us that we can do this and we can achieve this success in a European championship. That it's really nice to hear, and I think basically this is it, that they just love the sports and love when Hungary is winning.
But it's also very special for Kish to be successful in front of his fellow Hungarians.
It was really an emotional moment, you know, when you can win your home race and you have a crowd like that on the grandstands, and then you can hear your national anthem as a winner. It's always an emotional moment.
Moments that don't leave the professional untouched. Norbert Kish has celebrated almost 70 wins in his truck racing career. The European champion from 2014, 15, and 21 has reached the zenith of his creative art, but as a child, he wanted to reach even higher.
I really wanted to be an astronaut when I was young, because I was born in '85, and in my childhood, you know, the space shuttles was going like kind of often, and we were always looking at that, and it was, you know, something that for a child is quite unbelievable. So, you know, I wanted to be an astronaut, obviously.
Norbert Kish fulfilled his second childhood dream. He managed to build a professional racing career. Nowadays, he earns his living with truck racing. This was only possible because there are 2 Norbert Kish, the private person and the racing driver. The only thing they have in common is their straightforwardness.
You know, I wouldn't want to lie to you, you know. So probably I'm not the best guy, you know, in the whole world. But I try to be the best self of myself, and I try to do good for the people around me, you know, and you know, try to cooperate with the people who I meet, and you know, I try to have a good relationship with everybody.
But in the driver's cap, Dr. Jekyll becomes Mr. Hyde.
As a racing driver, I am for sure aggressive. I go for the win. When I was young, I was a big Ayrton Senna fan as well when I was really young, you know, so I never forget, you know, if there is the gap and you don't go for the gap, you are not a race car driver anymore. And this is something that I live by in my racing career, you know, and if there's a gap, for sure I will go for it, you know, because I love racing.
That's another reason why the 37-year-old still has lots of plans. In truck racing, you can still win races in your mid-50s, but Norbert Kish still dreams of other challenges.
I hope that still in my racing career, I maybe can try a GT3 race car and maybe do a Le Mans 24 or like a Nürburgring Nordschleife 24-hour race. That's something that is really, let's call it a dream for me.
That would be amazing, not only for him, but also for his fans. The third stop of the Italian F4 Championship is a special one. For the first time, the series races on the Formula One circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. There will be 38 drivers from 23 nations fighting for points in 3 races. All the drivers fighting for the top positions will confirm their presence, while Alex Dunn will try to regain the lead over Rafael Camara. Meanwhile, Andrea Kimi Antonelli will try to climb up the standings. In race 1, Andrea Kimi Antonelli is on the left and has pole position. The 15-year-old Italian is surrounded by his fellow team members. 4 Prima drivers fill the top 4 positions. Antonelli comes under immediate pressure from teammate James Wharton, who attempts to go around Antonelli's outside, entering Les Combes, and briefly bounces over the curbs, sweeps across the track while Antonelli is bulked behind him. That allows row 2 starters Rafael Camara and Charlie Wurz to move past, and US Racing's Marcus Amand as well. Antonelli falls back to 5th place. The Kemmel Straight is almost 1 kilometer long and it is perfect for overtaking. The slipstream plays a big role in this. Wurz and Amand try to catch Camara. While Wurz stays on track, Amand has to take the escape road, and the 4 Prima cars are in front once again. While Brazilian Rafael Camara is able to pull away, his 3 teammates are fighting for 2nd place. They carry great speed out of Eau Rouge. Wurz, Wharton, Antonelli, in this order, they head for the 3rd time into the Kemmel Straight. Wharton has to fend off a double attack. Wurz comes alongside him on the outside, and Antonelli utilizes the double slipstream to get on the inside. The pair clears Wharton on the straight, then Antonelli does Wurz under braking for Les Combes. Antonelli back in 2nd place. Now in the clear, Antonelli sets the fastest lap as he tracks down Camara. He gets into Camara's gearbox through Eau Rouge, then takes the lead from him on the following straight. He immediately moves to the inside to prevent Camara coming back at him. He then romps off into the distance to win by 4.83 seconds. An important win for the Italian after a great race. Rafael Camara secures a 2nd place finish, and James Wharton finishes in 3rd position. Again, an all-Prima podium. After a safety car phase, the 2nd race of the weekend is dominated by the duel between Rafael Camara and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. It's a classic slipstream fight. The Brazilian wins the first encounter and takes the lead. Then the Italian surprises him and passes on the inside of the hairpin bend after the start-finish straight. Antonelli stays ahead until cleverly giving the lead back, entering the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap, giving him the tow down the next straights. He goes to the outside of Camara as they reach Les Combes and again goes off, but this time Camara isn't giving him room, and so Antonelli doesn't concede the position gain, a lead he no longer relinquishes. In the end, he wins his 2nd race just ahead of Alex Dunn. Nikita Bedrin comes in 3rd. In race 3, Antonelli celebrates a lights to flag victory and completes an unbeaten weekend. With the 3 wins in Spa, he closes the gap on Rafael Camara in the overall standings and is now only 3 points behind the Brazilian. The 78th Orlen Rally Poland was the 4th stop of the FIA European Rally Championship. Poland's Miko Marczyk secured an emotional home victory. Together with his co-pilot Szymon Gospodarczyk, he celebrates his first ERC win. The 3rd overall finisher from last year's ERC took a 20.4-second advantage into Sunday's final leg. But he hit some trouble when his Fabia Rally 2 EVO scooped up some gravel on Special Stage 12, causing the water temperature to rocket as he nursed his car to finish in road mode. In the end, he was just 10 seconds ahead of Tom Christensen. The 2nd place finish was his best ever for the young Swede. Third place finisher Ken Torn from Estonia was able to celebrate his first podium finish at this level. The second stop of the FIA European Autocross Championship took place in Lithuania. French driver David Mayat won the cross car category, the first win of the new season for the reigning champion. With his second place finish, Juan Jose Hernandez gained the lead in the overall standings. Arnost Florian celebrated his second win of the season in the junior buggy category. The Czech driver now has a comfortable 13-point lead in the overall standings. After his success in the first race, Markus Wibbeler celebrated a great second place in Lithuania. The German was only beaten in the buggy 1600 category by Dutchman Bart van der Putten. Bernd Stuber was not only outstanding in the qualifying heats, but also unstoppable in the final of the super buggy category. The German driver won by more than 3 seconds and took the lead in the overall standings. The Ecce Homo Sternberg hill climb race in the Czech Republic is the fourth stop of the season and one of the classics of the FIA European Hill Climb Championship. This high-speed course is 7,800 meters long and extremely demanding. Of the 89 drivers who took part in the FIA competitions, the favorites prevailed in the end in both the closed car and competition cars. Austrian Karl Chagall celebrated his third victory of the season in his VW Golf Rally TFSI. In the competition cars, local hero Peter Trinka put up a great fight against the big favorite Christian Merli. In the end, it was only enough for second place, though. The reigning champion from Italy remains undefeated. Christian Merli impressed with an average speed of 176 kilometers per hour and improved his own course record from last year. Karting is the foundation for a successful career in motorsports. It's the primary school for all racing drivers. Those drivers who have just taken the next steps and are new to Formula 4 and Formula Regional know the value of their time in the kart. Eduardo Barrichello and Sebastian Montoya are sons of Formula 1 drivers. They inherited their talent but learned their skills in karting.
Yeah, I think karting is a good beginning because it teaches you a lot of the basics about driving and like just how to perform, basically how to do a whole qualifying laps together and how race pace works and stuff like this. Racing is very crucial, and in karting you learn a lot about that since you race so often and there's so many heat races prepping you for the final. And yeah, I think that's just the basis, and the better you are in karting, you have a better base and it makes it easier in cars.
Well, karting is really fast. And it's really competitive as well. It's where you get into racing and you basically learn everything in karting, and then when you go to cars you just basically have to learn some of the stuff, but racecraft, starts, being fast, you learn that in karting. So I think it's really a big point. You have to do karting if you want to be a good driver.
Most youngsters start very early and are already very well trained when they take the plunge into single-seater racing. Raffaele Gimaria is the director of the Scuola Federale ACI Sport, the driving school of the Italian Federation. He and his colleagues try to help young drivers to go to the next step from karting to single-seater racing.
The step is not so high coming from go-kart, because now the karting drivers that take part at the CIC FIA race or the WSK race, also the national championship, are really well prepared. So they are the professional drivers, also if they are 12, 13 or 14. So to be honest, in the last 5-6 years, I met in the school really well prepared drivers.
Also, thanks to the FIA Karting Academy Trophy was created in 2010. This original concept is still very relevant today. It's about challenging 51 young talents between 12 and 14 years of age from all over the world every year so that the best have the opportunity to be noticed and to pursue their career in karting or in motorsport with greater opportunities. Formula One drivers Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and Esteban Ocon are former participants. Then the youngsters race in the OK Junior and OK categories. Andrea Kimi Antonelli has been racing since he was 8. He was 2-time European champion in the OK class. Now the 15-year-old is racing in his first season in the Italian F4 Championship, and with great success, he won 5 of his 9 races.
I feel in karting is the best school, especially when you do a step to cars. And yeah, I mean for me it's the most important things to do before going into a car.
All drivers are of course proud to have taken the next step, and still they miss their time on the kart racing tracks.
The atmosphere you get with your friends, it's not as serious as Formula racing. In karting, at the end of the day, if you have a bad day, you can just go with your mates and start playing football, and you just kind of forget about the whole thing if it was a bad day. And if it was a good day, you can go out with your friends and be happy because it was a good day.
Growing up in karting makes for many happy days and memories, but also in your future career as a racing driver. At the halfway point of the 2022 season, the OK and OK Junior drivers descend on the Kristianstad Karting Club in Sweden. Here the focus is more on technical skill as the circuit has more braking zones, more overtaking spots, and even the odd thrill-seeking jump. The drivers affectionately call this place the roller coaster. The competition is very open in OK Junior. After 2 stops, Nathan Tai is in the lead, but neither he nor second overall Dmitry Matveyev have a good start position in the final in Sweden. Guillaume Bouzard of Luxembourg has the pole, and next to him is Anatoly Kavalkin. Bouzard in the black and red kart leads from the start with the inside line, getting the best launch, but Kavalkin keeps himself in the fight just behind Przowski, with Luis Werrell and Tizanio Monza close behind. Monza decides to move up early with a turn 5 overtake on Werrell, then Kavalkin with the black helmet overtakes Przowski for second place. As Kavalkin steals back the race lead, Tarvanichkul is on the move up to 4th ahead of Monza, but only just as Werrell tries to seize his own chance. Anatoly Kavalkin was so close on several occasions, but now is at least able to seal the victory. Przowski finishes second, Bouzard in 3rd position. Heading into the final next month, the championship stays wide open. Nathan Tai is just 4 points ahead of Anatoly Kavalkin. Dmitry Matveyev is 3rd. After wins in Portugal and Spain, Joe Turney, with maximum points thus far, could become European champion as early as this weekend. In the overall standings, the British driver leads by 28 points ahead of Enzo Delinghi. However, in the final, Joe Turney starts back in 11th, and pole position goes to Keen Nakamura Berta, who can clinch the lead of the championship if he stays there. Nakamura Berta makes a great start initially from Stoltzmanis and Powell, but then disaster as the Japanese driver has to take to the grass over the chicane. As Powell moves ahead of Orloff and Gali, Stoltzmanis drops to 5th with pressure from Tuukka Tapunen. On the next lap, Powell takes advantage of the dirty tires of his teammate and snatches the lead to lead his first OK final in FIA karting. Orlov is joining him in 2nd place. With his successful move on Gali, Joe Turney continues his run of damage limitation to score some points and consolidate his championship lead. Up front, Alex Powell leads in front of Nakamura Berthe and Stolz Meines. That means that the young man raised in Trinidad and Tobago is representing his native Jamaica is about to change the course of history as Alex Powell becomes the first ever Caribbean to win in the FIA Karting paddock. A landmark moment for Jamaica and the entire region. With this win, Powell jumps to third place in the overall standings. Nakamura closes the gap on tourney to 9 points. That's it for today. On our next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we'll introduce you to Formula Regional driver Hamda Al-Kubaizi. We'll also visit the next stop of the FIA European Autocross Championship, and we'll have a look at the future rally stars. Till next time, take care everybody and ciao.